What's up, divas, and what's up, divos? It's your girl April, and I'm back for Real Talk Wednesday. So before I even start, I wanted you ladies to check out this awesome shirt that I am rocking today. Thanks to AMC for this awesome Daryl Dixon shirt, which is from The Walking Dead. So I was sent this shirt because I guess I'm like one of their #1 fans. So every Sunday I tweet, I Facebook, and I Instagram my thoughts of the actual episode. And a lot of people that I've noticed, I've gotten probably like 3 or 4 complaints. Spoiler alert, I haven't watched the episode yet. Here's my thing. If you see it's being written about the show, why the fuck do you keep reading it? And it's not my fault if it's 3 days later and you haven't watched The Walking Dead. Obviously, you're not a big fan like me. I make it my business as soon as the show airs to sit down and watch it. I do DVR it, but I'm still watching it the moment it airs. So of course here on the West Coast, it is 3 hours behind. Before daylight savings times it was 2. So you guys on the East Coast get to watch it before me. I used to get to watch it at that time too, but you know, I live here on the West Coast now, which I am so happy about. But yes, I'm always tweeting. They sent me a private message in my DM and just basically said thanks to my tweets and posts, and they wanted to send me a gift. So I got the Daryl Dixon shirt, which I absolutely love because it's a V-neck and it's just absolutely gorgeous. So yes, now onto the hair that I'm rocking. This is actually a synthetic unit. So this is by Outre, and this is their Dominican blowout in the color DR30, which I will be posting up the video this week for you girls, because I know that you want to save money and you're probably wondering what hair is that. You can get this from sisterwig.com, and this is, like I said, the color DR30. The blend of it is absolutely beautiful. This hair is not silky. It is like African American hair, so it's a yaki texture, and it's not as dense as like their other Nisha wig or other wigs that you will find in this particular texture and style, but the density is still very natural and average looking, especially when it's going to be super hot outside. So I love the color a lot, and yes girls, I will have that video up for you this week so you girls can check it out. Rate it, comment, subscribe, and share it with friends and family. So other than that, there's no drink for today because it's early and I have to get my kids from school. And I wanted to get this video out as soon as possible. So I have like 40 minutes and then I have to go. So I'm going to try to knock this out really super duper quick. So one of my ladies here, so before I even get into that, if you want a real talk video about your life situation or any situation advice, you can always send me an email to muffinismylovers2012@gmail.com. Please make sure to put in the comment section, or the subject line rather, real talk, so that way I can respond to it and do a video response to it. But other than that, let's get into this real talk. Okay, hey April, love your channel and your perspective. I need your advice. Name's already changed. You can call me Kayla. What I'm wondering is, how important should sex be in a relationship? My boyfriend Jason likes sex about once a week or sometimes less, and I want it at least twice, preferably more. Also, I don't orgasm during intercourse. It feels great, but I still don't orgasm. Oral isn't really an option because of recurrent infections triggering by oral sex or anything that alters my pH. I don't initiate sex anymore because he turns me down so much that I start feeling rejected. And faithfulness isn't a problem, nor is he gay. How do I handle this incompatibility? He is my first sexual partner, but he's had several. We're both in our late 20s. I thought this was supposed to be our freaky time. Any advice you have is much appreciated. So Kayla is in her 20s, and her boyfriend, what's his name, Jason, likes sex about once a week. She likes it twice, preferably more. she doesn't have orgasms, and having oral sex, she catches infections due to pH balance. So some women can get like that because of the pH balance. The moisture, the saliva from the person's mouth can actually trigger that. So that is like an issue with a lot of women. You know what I'm saying? It's just, you don't want to put everything down there. So certain oils, certain lubricants, certain toys, certain mouths, hands, what have you, can actually upset your pH balance. Even if you're douching every day, that can upset your pH balance. And you really don't want that, because that will cause a bad yeast infection, as well as like a vaginosis infection. There's lots of different bacterial infections that can get down to your vajayjay. So it's very, very sensitive area down there. However, not having sex, and how important is sex? Well, to be honest, I'm in my 40s. I'm 41 years old, and to me, sex is a beautiful thing. However, I'm going to be honest with you. There are some times when I just want to go to sleep. I don't really care about it. You're great in the bed, but I wish rather just lay my ass down because I've had a long day. And for the moment spent, whether it be 5 to 30 minutes to an hour, sometimes I'm just not into it like that. I just not into it like that. Especially if you're going to just jump right into it, you got to give me a little foreplay and fool around and make me warm up and get all moist, and then, you know what, it's probably on and popping. But how important is sex? Some people think that sex is really, really important, and they feel like, you know what, that's what makes a relationship. It's not really what makes a relationship. Sex can last anywhere from 5 minutes. You cannot build your relationship, your entire relationship, on sex. You see couples that have been together for their entire lives, and they're 80 years old and better, or 70, what have you. Do you think that they're humping like rabbits? Some of them may just be, but not all of them are. They're content with one another's companionship and the love that they've grown for one another, not about how they can roll around in a sack. So to me, sex on a scale from 1 to 10, I would say it's more or less, to me, more or less like a 5. I'm going to split it in half, because it has to be something that you both are willing to do and you both can be satisfied. Now, as for orgasms, you're not having none, honey, you better talk to him, because he's just not hitting the right spots. But here's the thing. Sometimes he can be, and you just not open to what he's doing. So in my mind, and I've had these issues before, I'm not going to say it was with this relationship, and I'm not going to say it's with my past relationships, but I've had this issue where I have not orgasmed, and I've had sex, but I haven't. Sometimes you got to think and use your imagination, okay? Like, seriously, you have to use your imagination, and that can really open up a whole new door. So he's going down on you, or he's humping you, or whatever you want to call it. You got to use your imagination. Regardless of how freaky and kinky you want to be, use your imagination. Don't just lay there and feel like that one person has to do the work. Imagination comes to play with every single thing. When I'm talking about every single thing in life in general. So imagination is part of having sex. You know what I'm saying? You got to open up your mind, and you got to think for yourself. Sometimes you got to think outside the fucking box just to open up and make your own self feel good. So you really can't depend on that one person to create that atmosphere for you all the time. They may create it 85 to 60%. You got to create the rest for yourself, and just imagine. If it's imagining somebody else, somebody you have a crush on television or what have you, imagine that shit. Imagine a porno. Watch some dirty movies. Sometimes that can help and get you guys both in the mood. But as far as your freaky side, just because you're in your 20s does not necessarily mean that that was your freaky moments. Because in your 20s, you're still new to this, unless you've been fucking since you've been like 10. So, however, in your 20s, you're still new to everything. And I'm not saying experience all type of freakiness with all type of people. You're still new to it. And normally, like in your 30s, 40s, you get freaky. We're very creative at this age, because we've already experienced enough of that to where we know what to do and how to do it and what to do to get that person aroused. So being that you're just in your 20s does not mean that's your freakiness side. There are people that is my age and older that can get more freaky than you and I age put together, okay? They're more experienced, so they know all about the freakiness. But as for him turning you down, girl, maybe if you would approach him a different way, then maybe the turn down wouldn't be so harsh, and maybe he would be so excited that he would want to have sex every day. There are different things that you can do Take this for instance, and this is not a toy. This is actually a game. It's Cosmos Truth or Dare, our naughtiest sex game ever. So I actually got this from Spencer's. It was 10 bucks, and it's a card game, and there are loads of cards inside of it, and basically it's dare or truth, and you ask the person which one, truth or dare. They choose one, and then you tell them what to do. So I'm just going to give you an example. Truth or dare, say I chose dare. Write an explicit note to me, then hide it somewhere where I'll find it. Or the truth side, how long would your ideal quickie last? Describe every moment. And then you just flip it over, and then the next person would take their turn. Dare, straddle my chest in the buff and let me look at your body. So these things like this are super fun. This doesn't necessarily mean because I bought this that my sex life is dull, but you do all different types of things to spice it up and to have fun. Just because it's sex does not mean that it does not have to be fun and engaging. However, spice it up, make it more entertaining, so that way the person will want to come back for more, and even if they're tired, they're going to want some more. So with my suggestion, go look at the adult stores. If you don't want to go to an adult store, you can always go to Spencer's. They have like really great gadgets and toys and novelty items and games like this. There's other games as well. I think these are a lot of fun, especially they're super cheap, $9.95. You can't beat that, and it's fun. This is for couples to have a good time with. So I'm not saying playing with a whole room of people. It's just an intimate game for you and he, or she and she, or he and he to play, and it spices things up, but it also makes it a lot more fun. So that way you don't feel like this is a task, this is a chore, this is something that I have to do because we're in a relationship. You know what I'm saying? So to me, how important is sex? Sex is as important as you make it, and the relationship, first of all, comes first. It all depends on the person, but the most important thing is truth and honesty and trust in one another, and just being able to communicate with each other. So make it fun. Wear little outfits, get little things like this, and spice it up a little bit. But you know what I'm saying? Make it engaging, and make it feel like don't make it feel like it's something that you have to do and you have to like it. I like things like this because, like I said, it's very fun and it's engaging, and you get a couple of good laughs out of it. You got the person doing dares that you would never do, or you wouldn't basically do them out in public, but it makes it a lot of fun. So yeah, you're sitting up there cracking up, you got tears coming down your face. You can either smoke some weed prior to it, or smoke some weed while you're playing, or have some drinks, but it makes a whole lot of difference. And by the end of the game, and not even the end, because honestly, yeah, we probably got about 6 cards into the game, and we didn't want to play no more. We'd rather do something else. So it makes it fun, and it makes it like, okay, now I want to explore some other options. So yes, keep that in mind, and let her know what you think about the situation. Let Kayla know, what are your opinions on how important is sex in a relationship? Okay, so this one is super duper long. Hi April, I've been watching you since you had your original channel, which was when I started YouTube. This is my 3rd channel. I'm interested in your opinion. Please don't use my real name. I've changed our name so you can call me Sophia. I apologize in advance for this long drawn out email, but I want to make sure I provide a clear picture of the scenario. I met my ex Louis over 20 years ago. We were on again and off again. We lost touch for some years and reconnected when he went to prison. We stayed in touch for a few years and then got into an argument and didn't speak again for several years. In 2012, we ran into each other and started hanging out, and again lost touch for a few months until about the summer of 2013. Again, we were talking every day and spending the weekends together. He then started seeing someone else, so we weren't communicating, and we were not in a committed relationship at this point. I met someone else around the same time. You can call him Victor. Keep in mind that we live in a small city, so while I knew who Victor was from years ago, I didn't know him, and never actually met him until 2013. Victor and I started spending time together casually, getting to know each other. I like Victor and I'm really attracted to him. However, on our first date, Victor tells me that he and my children's father, had an issue over 10 years ago, which I knew nothing about, and he tells me that he and Louis are cousins. I go to my friend that introduced me to Victor and asked why she didn't tell me that he and Louis were cousins, and she said they were not blood cousins but have been friends forever. Louis ends up catching a case as a result of his involvement with his other female. We again run into each other out one night, and of course one thing leads to another, and we end up hooking up and start communicating again, but had not entered into a committed relationship. Now mind you, Louis is her baby's father, her child's father. I was still getting to know Victor during this time as well, but he and I were dating casually and had not had sex. I went to Louis' hearing and was at his house that evening. We were all there. There were people there out in the back. Louis and others were talking about another guy by his street name, and I didn't know who this guy was. This guy apparently showed up, and Louis went out front to talk to him. I drive a very distinctive car which was parked out front, and obviously because Victor and I had been out, he knew my car. The next day I texted Victor good morning, and he responded that Louis would be mad at him and I be in trouble if he knew that we were texting. I was shopping when I got this response, and it seemed at the time to come out of left field. When I didn't respond right away, Victor texted again saying, "Oh, it's true, then you don't have anything to say." When I got home, I told him, yes, I've known Lou for many years, and we've been involved on and off over the years, but we are not in a relationship. The rings on my fingers were bought by me, and I don't have Louis' last name. I asked who told him about Louis, and he said he knew about us from back in the days, but didn't know we were still in contact. He also said that he couldn't backstab his boy. I told him that we could keep things strictly platonic and keep it pushing, and also that as Louis' boy, he is aware that Louis has plenty of other women he was involved with and would not have any reason to be concerned with who I spend my time with. I also let Victor know that if he wanted to know anything about who I'm involved with, that he should be asking me, and if he wasn't interested in me, to let me know. And he didn't have to worry about me contacting him again. He apologized and said that he didn't intend to make me angry and that he wanted to continue getting to know me. After that, everything seemed to be good with him and I again. Louis and I weren't really communicating anyway. I didn't pick up until later that Victor tends to bring up Louis in some way every time we're together, and it started to be negative things. True things like he was hanging out with messy people, no job, no car, etc. Victor wanted to detail my car, so he asked if we could trade cars for the day. I don't usually do this, but I knew that he took good care of his car, so I felt comfortable exchanging vehicles. That afternoon, Victor calls me and tells me that he thinks that Louis saw him in my car. I asked where, and it turned out to be where Louis hangs out. I was like, well, did he say something to you? Meanwhile, I'm trying to understand what the problem is. I finally find out that Victor was the guy who had come to Louis, and apparently Louis mentioned that I was his girl and that was my car. As soon as he told me, I knew exactly which day this had been, which was after the hearing. I asked Victor why he didn't come in the house, but he never gave me a straight answer. After that night, Victor stops talking to me. A few months later, again, Louis and I start seeing each other. This time it's different, and we end up in a relationship. About 6 months in, he gets arrested, Louis. I'm there for him the entire time, almost a year he's in jail. He ends up with time served and gets out. About 2 months later, I feel like something is off, and he begins to be distanced. Louis begins to be distanced. The last straw for me was finding a Facebook profile that he was friends with everyone but me. I told him to kick rocks. He texted me the next day saying he still loves me, and I responded the same. There were other things I didn't like, which I won't get into, but we have not spoken since, and shortly after I broke it off, I learned he was with someone else. I assumed this was the female that he was involved with when he was supposed to be with me. I don't know for certain, but I wager money on it. In the meantime, Victor and I were not speaking on speaking terms, which was awkward and tense. When we'd both be at my friend's house, he eventually asked our mutual friend if she would help him apologize to me. I accepted Victor's apology, but I was still standoffish with him. We finally made amends after I broke it off with Louis. The thing is, we both like each other, Victor and I. We have very strong chemistry. We will communicate in spurts. But just before Christmas, he contacted me out of the blue, but he starts acting flaky, so I blocked him. A few weeks ago, I saw him, and I just admitted to myself that I do like him, and I would like to see where things go. I also found out that Louis married this other female. This is not crushing or devastating to me. He doesn't value marriage in the way that I do. My question is, am I wrong to become involved with Victor since he and Louis are friends? I'm looking at it from the perspective that Louis obviously had no desire to maintain a relationship with me. He has moved on. My BFF feels that Louis will be angry and could do something to me or Victor. That's because they were friends. There was some unspoken code between them that could cause conflict. Am I wrong to think that Louis shouldn't have an issue with it? He walked away and he knew that Victor and I had dated before and I was in a relationship with Victor. He made it clear to me that he wouldn't cut off his relationship with Victor. So then I don't know why he has a problem with it. So that was a long one. And basically, let's see here. Sophia has had an on and off relationship with Louis for 20 years now. And she met someone else named Victor. Come to find out, Victor and Louis are like the best of friends. However, it's an on and off relationship for the past 20 years. He's never been in a committed relationship. Louis has never been in a committed relationship with Sophia. He's flighty. He want to lose contact when he want to lose contact. He want to come back in the picture when he want to come back in the picture. He's flighty, okay? And they do have children together. However, the communication should still be like this because you guys got kids together. But he's flighty. He's in and out of jail. One minute you want to be with me, the next minute you don't. He's went ahead and married somebody else. On Facebook, Louis is everyone else's friends but Sophia. And basically, he was messing around on her. But she really does like Victor. And Victor feels like, you know what I'm saying, him and Louis were friends. Her friend, her best friend, Sophia's best friend, feels like she shouldn't be dating Victor because Louis and Victor are friends. And what would I do? Or what do I think? Here's my thing. Now, first of all, Louis flighty. He ain't really in no relationship with you, girl. You probably like one of the notches on his belt. However, if he really did give a fuck about you and want a relationship with you, don't you really honestly feel like it would have been over 20 years ago? You guys have been on and off for 20 years. That shit gets tiring. Either you're going to be with me or you not going to fucking be with me. Either we're going to spend time, we're going to make a relationship, we're going to make a future together, or you're going to kick rocks. Nobody has time to be dicking around and playing around with these niggas or bitches. It's just straight like that. You know what I'm saying? How his friendship is with someone that you're dating is really totally not your business. However, the one thing that I would suggest is that you tell your boyfriend that you're with now, which is Victor, your baby father Louis' friend, don't mention Louis around you because it makes you feel awkward, it makes you feel uncomfortable, and you don't want to engage in any type of negative conversation with him. This is mainly about you and him, and you don't want to bring anybody else into the circle, meaning any exes or any so-called exes. And I say it's so-called because you two were really not with each other like that. You were basically a fuck tool, or whenever he felt like being bothered with you, which is kind of fucked up because in reality, that makes you feel less of a person, and it makes you feel some type of way. Me personally, if you don't want to be in a committed relationship with me, but you want to be on and off, I really can't fuck with you. You either going to be there or you're not. I'm not going to deal with you 1 minute and then the next minute you want to be flighty. You don't want to communicate with me for like days on end. Shit like that pisses me the fuck off. And that lets me know that you really don't give a fuck about me. I've had situations like that where you don't want to communicate. You ain't called me in like days or what have you. That means you really don't give a shit about me. I could have been hit by a fucking car or a bus. You wouldn't know. You know what I'm saying? How do you go days on end without communicating with somebody? And then that makes me start to feel like, you know what? I ain't gonna fuck with you. I'm not gonna communicate with you. My text messages to you and my phone calls will be very sparingly, or there'll be none. You know what I'm saying? And I'm that type of person. If you don't want to reach out to me, I'm not gonna reach out to you. I'm not gonna be up under your ass, and I'm not gonna follow and chase behind you. So don't fucking weigh your happiness on somebody who really don't give a fuck about you, meaning Louis. He don't really care about you like that, and it's time to move on. So what? That's his friend. Yeah, there is a code of friendship, and I value that a lot. However, he and him are really not that close like that as they probably were, and you and Louis are nowhere close like that. That's to say, like, if my best friend and we were just tight, we were together every day, all day, every day for years and years and years, and I knew her boyfriend and they broke up and they were together for years, and then like a couple months later I started dating him, that right there would be really fucked up. That right there would be fucked up because she and I would be together all the time. We communicated all the time. We were always together. We were always in like a circle. Her boyfriend, her, me and my boyfriend, or just me, what have you. That would be kind of fucked up. But that circle that you got going on is really not a full circle like that. Louis and Victor are not hanging out. They see each other on occasions and they speak. They're not hanging out. They're not having sleepovers. They're not throwing parties together. They're not going to the movies. They speak on occasion. They're not making it their business like they used to hang out with one another. But you and Louis are really nothing. You guys are really not a couple. You were never a couple. You were never a thing. You were just someone that was around when it was convenient for him. So my code of friendship is, it has to be weighed out. You have to, there's pros and there's cons. Which one is which? Which person is which person? How is this person with that person? How is this person with this person? Sometimes you miss out on a lot of good opportunities because of certain things that you may believe in, which are really not so. Sometimes you may miss out on love because he knows him and you know him and y'all all know each other, and you don't want to mess around with him because he knows her and he knows her. Just because he knows him and he knows her and you know him, and doesn't mean that it cannot be a relationship. But it's not healthy for Victor to continuously bring up Louis, which I cannot even say is your ex-boyfriend, because you guys were never an item like that. On and off. How do you go from speaking to someone to not speaking to them for a couple of years or a few months? That right there to me is like, okay, he really don't give a fuck about me. So I'm not really going to base my relationship, my life, my love, my feelings, my trust on this one person. If you don't call me for days and weeks at a time, nigga, goodbye. Bye, Felicia, because I'm not fucking with you. And if I see you around, it's hello, and then I'm going to leave it at that. I'm not going to waste my time and energy onto someone who's really not into me like that. That's just not about to happen. You know what I'm saying? Relationships are very wishy-washy. Sometimes you don't need them. Sometimes you just want to be by your goddamn self, because it is like so damn stressful. And I'm not about to let anybody stress me out. However, sometimes you cannot listen to your best friends. Sometimes you cannot listen to your friends and family. Sometimes you got to listen to this, which is your heart, and feel how you feel. If you really like this young man, Victor, and he and you are getting to know each other and you're spending time, you've got a great friendship and a great companionship and just a great thing going, why fuck it up for somebody who really don't give a shit about you? You know what I'm saying? He don't. I think when you were at his house and there was family and friends there at Louis' house after his hearing, and Victor so happily stopped by, but you didn't know, of course he said, that's my girl. I'm probably sure there was more to it than that. He probably said, Victor probably said something to Louis like, yeah, that car looks familiar. Of course the next man, even if you're not his girl, he's going to say something like that, because they don't want anyone to step on their territory. However, you're not a piece of property. You're nobody's territory. And if he ain't claiming you like that, bitch, please don't claim his motherfucking ass, and surely don't worry about how he feels about the situation. Y'all ain't tight like that. Y'all ain't been in no relationship. Y'all were in a short relationship. He didn't have you as a friend on Facebook, so you kicked him to the curb. Now that's social media life right there. I'm going to be honest and tell you, I don't really want to be friends with anyone I'm dating on any type of social media. You can go ahead and follow me if you want to, but my thing is this: I don't really give a fuck who your friends are. You can have all the friends in the world. That's your business. But me personally, I don't really want you in my social media life, because it interferes a lot with relationships and it fucks them up. So the part where you got upset that he's with friends with everybody else but you, pissed you off, that was a little bit childish, you know what I'm saying? Because there's so much more in life to worry about. However, like I said, he really wasn't worried about you. He didn't really have your best interest at heart. All it was a convenience to him. And he also had another side chick who he married. And like you said, it was no heartbreaker, because he doesn't value a relationship like that. Be it said, I would not worry too much about how Louis feels. If he wants to see his kids, then that's cool. You can do that. But I wouldn't let him interfere in how I feel about somebody else, especially that person who's spending time with me, as being genuine with me, and we're friends. But if Victor, the one that you're messing with, is acting flaky too, then bitch, you need to get rid of the both of them and have some time to soul search and find yourself the perfect Mr. Right. Now, there ain't no perfect Mr. Right, but he's perfect for you. And that goes to say as well as Mrs. Right. There's no perfect Mrs. Right, but they're perfect to the person that they're with. And that's all that fucking matters. Never worry about what everybody thinks. Because if you worry about what the whole world thinks, or what she thinks, he thinks, the dog and cat and gerbil think, then you are not going to fucking succeed in life. And you're just going to constantly worry about what everybody else thinks. And then what about Sophia? When's she going to be happy? So let Sophia know, what is your friendship code? What do you think about her situation? Me personally, I would just continue on with my relationship with Victor, especially if he's doing right. But if he acting flaky too, then he can hit the curb just as well. Okay, so this is the last one before I have to get my kids. And I do apologize, they're normally longer, but I gotta get the kids. Hey April, I love your videos and I think you're fabulous. I want to get a different perspective on a situation I've been dealing with. P.S. I changed the names for you. So Tia, got into a relationship with this guy named Devin when I was 15 and he was 19. We were together for 4 years, and in 2014 we broke up due to our lives changing and wanting different things in the relationship. We still communicated on a friendship level and checked up on each other. Just a few months ago, he had a conversation with me about us dating again, and I was cool with that. So then he starts to follow me on Instagram and I follow back. I look through his pages and I've seen plenty of posts about Latinas. Latina women are more attractive and are more of the wifey type. I'm the first African American that he's ever been with. I know Latinas are more of his type, which I don't have a problem with, because people like what they like. I was a little hurt and I told him what I saw and how I felt. He said because that's what he grew up around and that's all he knows. He respectfully took all the posts down about the Latina women. For the most part, I have all the body features that he's looking for. So now my confidence level isn't as high whenever I'm around him, and I constantly have my guard up. I just want a different way of looking at it so I can date him and be comfortable around him. So Tia is back in a relationship or dating a guy named Devin that she has known. They're 4 years apart. He wanted to date her again. They follow each other on social media, and just like I said about the social media shit. And on his social media post, she noticed that he states that Latina women are just perfect, basically more beautiful. They're more the wifey type, and she's an African American. So of course she felt some type of way, and she addressed it to him, and he did take down the post. But she still has her guard up, and she still is like on the defense side due to things she has seen. Now here's my thing. She knows she has the right body figure. That's what he's looking for. But she still got her guard up. Let me tell you something, Tia. You got to be comfortable about who you are. You can never please anybody. You cannot change who you are. You definitely cannot change your race for this man. And as much as you may like him and you want to date him, you cannot change the fact that you are an African American woman. However, what you can do is prove his post to be totally incorrect. There are men out there that only prefer certain races, and that's fine, because just like you said, people like what they like. Me in particular, I have never dated outside of my race, which is African American, and that's just what I like. But you can never knock anything before you try it. Not saying I'm going out there to try it, because I do have someone, but you like what you like. I like them dark, don't like light skin, and that's what I like. You may like them chubbier or darker or lighter. It's all your preference, but you cannot change who you are. Now, it was respectful that he took the post down, which I would have been happy with. But yeah, I would have been kindly on my guard too, like, why he looking at that freaking Spanish bitch? Why are you looking at the Spanish bitch so hard? I seen the way your eyes were gauging. Why are you looking at the Spanish bitch on TV? Why'd you like the Spanish bitch picture? So that does keep you on your guard, but you gotta be who you are. So as for his posts, you could always prove his post wrong, because you're an African American woman. And a lot of men, whether they be black men, some of them don't want an African American woman because they feel like we have no filter, that we're too aggressive, that we don't settle. That's their opinion. That goes to say with every race. Just because we're black women does not mean that we are the most aggressive women out there. There are Caucasian women like that. There are Asian women like that. There are Hispanic women like that. There are alien women like that. There are green, purple, Indian women like that. There are all women like that. We come in all packages and sizes. Does not matter what race we are. These women out here, as women, we can all become aggressive, okay, depending on the situation, or just as who we are in general. Now, yes, I am a black woman. I am black and Italian, and I'm aggressive, but that has nothing to do with because I'm black. It has to do with who I am, and maybe where I've grown up at in New York City and where I spent my life. Sometimes you got to be aggressive to get ahead in life. Sometimes you got to be aggressive to survive. However, not all black women are aggressive like that. I have seen some that are very timid, and just lay back and really don't say much, and you would probably be like, bitch, you better get some fucking feet and stand up on them shits, you know what I'm saying, or grow a backbone or something. And then I've seen some white girls who just, like one of my best friends in New York, she a white girl, and she is aggressive. We are more or less just like one another, but she a white girl. Now, that's what he likes. He likes Hispanic women. However, he finds something about your ass really attractive to you. So I wouldn't put too much emphasis on what he likes and what race he likes. The one thing that I would do is prove him wrong, that black women, African American women, we are just as good as those Hispanic women, Indian women, Asian women, Caucasian women. We are just as acceptable as them. And prove his ass to be totally wrong, so that way your ass is up on his social media. However, I wouldn't put too much emphasis on anybody's social media, because sometimes people put up shit just so that everybody else can get likes and like it and see it, and that's just his opinion. Maybe he's just trying to attract certain women so that he can converse with them. But like I said, I wouldn't put too much emphasis on his social media. Social media will fuck you up. It will fuck up your life. It will fuck up your relationship. It will just fuck you up sometimes. And it'll have you feeling some type of way about yourself, about others. There was a time, and sometimes I feel like this, like I will look at certain people on TV, social media, and my thing was this: I was so self-conscious about my gap. You know what I mean? I did not have it all my life. And I would see all these people getting braces, and I would start to feel some type of way. Like, damn, I'm not as pretty as them because my teeth aren't like them. And it made me feel so self-conscious to where it fucked me up mentally a lot. To where I was going out and buying certain things to pull my teeth together because braces are expensive. So I was doing certain things to make myself feel acceptable like other people. And that was what social media did to me. It fucked my teeth up. It fucked my teeth up, but it gave me the worst toothache, an abscess that I've ever had. But it was because of social media that I was so worried about my looks and who I am. You got to worry about you and be comfortable with yourself and with your body, and not worry about the Latinas, the Asians. You got to worry about Tia and be happy with Tia, because until you can be happy with yourself, ain't nobody else going to be happy with you. There are a lot of people out there that perpetrate the funk, be playing the funk, be faking it just to make it, what have you. Those are the type of people that you don't want to be like. Social media is a bunch of lies sometimes, because you really don't know how that person is living on the other end. What you see is a facade most of the time. You don't really see into their whole world and know what the fuck is going on behind the scenes. So I wouldn't really put too much emphasis on social media, but I would prove his ass to be wrong. That's exactly what I would do. And be comfortable with yourself. Let your guard down somewhat and just be comfortable with yourself. And watch for signs. If he start looking at them Latino women too much, you might want to not fuck with him no more. And find someone who accepts you for the person that you are. But give him a chance and see. He already took the post down, so that's number one. He was respectable about that. So give him a chance. And if he's not up to your standards and you're still feeling self-conscious, then don't perpetrate the funk. And don't try to be somebody that you're not just because you want a relationship with him. You never know. Being in a relationship with him may make you a better person, meaning make yourself love yourself even more. And that might not be the relationship for you, but it might have helped you out in the long run to find out who you are and what you want as a person. So, on that note, let Tia know what you would do and how you would feel about the situation. And I gotta go get these kids. So, yes, you guys, I will see you on my next video. Stay diva and divalicious. I hope you enjoyed this really quick Real Talk Wednesday. And I do apologize. I'll make sure to make next week's 1 hour for you girls. So, I love you all, and I'll see you soon.